Welcome to Part 28 of my report on the McCarrick Report by Patrick Parson. Today on page 77 of the McCarrick Report, in Chapter 9 titled Bishop Hughes, Bishop Smith, and Bishop McHugh's Knowledge of McCarrick's Misconduct, we look at Section B, Information Received by Bishop Hughes from Priest 1, 1993 to 1996. Priest 1 became a seminarian at the Diocese of Metuchen in 1986 and was ordained a priest by Bishop Hughes in 1990. In 1993, at the advice of his spiritual advisor, Priest 1 discussed his sexually inappropriate relationship with two teenage boys in the parish with Bishop Hughes. During the discussion with Bishop Hughes, Priest 1 mentioned having been sexually abused by Bishop McCarrick and seeing inappropriate behavior by McCarrick with other people. Bishop Hughes said he was glad Priest 1 was telling him the truth, and that there were treatment centers that could help him. Priest 1 went through a comprehensive psychodiagnostic assessment at a treatment center for priests in November of 1993. The assessment gave Priest 1's account as follows. McCarrick, who had telephoned seminarian Priest 1 at his home several times and invited him on a fishing trip with two other priests. Spending the night in a motel, Priest 1 saw McCarrick on top of the priest who was sharing a double bed with the Archbishop. Later in the summer, McCarrick asked Priest 1 to drive him to New York for a dinner meeting with some businessmen. After the meeting, McCarrick and Priest 1 drove to McCarrick's New York apartment, which had only one bed. In the bed, McCarrick began touching the seminarian, who eventually jumped out of bed saying he didn't feel very well. McCarrick persuaded the seminarian to come back to bed with him, asking him to put on a striped shirt and tight shorts. Priest 1 had no recollection of what then happened, remembering only being in the car returning home. Priest 1 claimed the Archbishop had not invited him to spend the night. The Archbishop told him. Priest 1 was discharged from the hospital in August 1994. On April 28, 1995, Psychologist 1 wrote to Bishop Hughes saying Priest 1, quote, had been the victim of sexual harassment in the seminary, in the Diocese of Metuchen, and at the hospital, unquote. The letter specified Priest 1 was not a sexual offender and did not present a danger to the community. Bishop Hughes responded with a letter on May 9, 1995, questioning the accuracy of Psychologist 1's conclusions. Psychologist 1 wrote back, affirming his assessment that Priest 1 presented no risk for child abuse and neglect, and recommending he be entrusted with the responsibilities for full ministry. Bishop Hughes returned Priest 1 to limited ministry as an assistant in a parish in November 1995. In 1996, psychiatrist Dr. Richard P. Fitzgibbons was asked by the Diocese of Metuchen to evaluate whether Priest 1 was fit to return to full-time ministry. Dr. Fitzgibbons conducted 6 sessions with Priest 1 and sent his conclusion to the Metuchen Vicar for Personnel on November 8, 1996, stating Priest 1, quote, has been victimized and is not the victimizer, unquote. After asking for more detailed information from the psychiatrist, Bishop Hughes assigned Priest 1 as an associate pastor in 2 parishes in January 1977 and transferring him to another diocese that same year. According to the report, there is no evidence that Bishop Hughes informed any Holy See official regarding Priest 1's allegations against McCarrick. And that concludes Section B. We see that more action appears to be taken against whistleblowers than against the primary perpetrators. Where on earth are the priorities of church leaders here? But our priority should be on the saving of souls, both our own and those of others. Please join me in the Fatima prayer to do just that. O my Jesus, forgive us our sins, save us from the fires of hell, and lead all souls to heaven, especially those in most need of thy mercy.